Check out my Patreon page, James Dobinson Audiobooks, for loads more stories, including Harry Potter, David Walliams, Jacqueline Wilson, and loads more. Feel free to check it out now. Chapter 7. We stood in the middle of the main hallway, portraits peering down at us, grim men with jutting chins and women in profile with long noses. God, who are they? Old teachers, said Jodie. They look like relatives. I suppose they're Mrs. Wilberforce's ancestors. This used to be her family house, said Harley. Wow, some family. Like they go back centuries. They must be really, really rich and posh. Posh, yes. Rich, maybe not anymore. Melchester College is falling to bits. But my dad can fix it up now, said Jodie. You'd need 100 dads to fix this dump, said Harley. You call this a dump, said Jodie, gesturing at the chandelier above us. You wait till you see behind the scenes, said Harley. Well, come on then, show us around, said Jodie. Harley hesitated. He looked down at his book. You don't have to, I said quickly. You probably want to get on with stuff. No, it's okay, he said. What's your book? Jodie asked. Oh, Harley looked embarrassed, going pink. Hey, is it a dirty book? Said Jodie. No, it's a classic. You'd hate it, he said. Let's see then. She squinted at the spine. Jude the Obscure. Have you read that one, Pearl? I shook my head. It's not a children's book, said Harley. Pearl's a great reader. She reads all sorts. Lots of classics, said Jodie loftily. It was my turn to blush now. No, I don't, I mumbled. Just one or two easy ones. I'll show you the library if you like, said Harley. Don't get excited. It's pretty crap, though. He led us along the corridor into a big room with handsome wall-to-wall shelving. The books themselves looked sparse and flimsy on the deep shelves, mostly cheap tattered paperbacks mixed up with old Enid Blytons and Biggles and mock-leather children's encyclopedias. Jodie wrinkled her nose and sat down at one of the computers, starting to fiddle. I peered at the books. Look, I told you. See, said Harley. I thought there'd be wonderful old leather-bound volumes going back donkey's years. There are, I said shyly, but not here. They're in Mrs. Wilberforce's house. So you've been in there? I haven't. She's got lots of books, has she? She says I can borrow some, I said. I took a deep breath. I could ask if you could borrow some too, if you like, Harley. Cool, said Harley. He was flipping his way through the books. Have you read this? He asked, holding up The Wind in the Willows. Yes, it's great, I said. I like Moley. I paused, glancing at Jodie. She was frowning at the computer keyboard, tapping keys impatiently. And Badger, I added. Harley smiled at me. It was as if we were talking in our own secret code. You haven't told her, have you? He mouthed at me. I shook my head. Harley put his head very close to mine. We'll go and watch again at night. You and me, okay? Okay, I said. What are you two whispering about? Jodie called. Hey, this is a totally rubbish computer. You can't access anything. They don't want to enlighten the kiddywinks, said Harley. Keep them ignorant and unsuspecting. Is that what you are, Harley? Not Davidson, said Jodie, shutting the computer down in disgust. No, I'm very knowledgeable and highly suspicious, said Harley. That's cool, said Jodie. Come on then. The library's boring. Show us the rest of this place. How long have you been shut up here? Only since last year. I get moved around a lot. I've been to so many schools I've lost count, said Harley. Why? I don't fit in. We don't fit in either, said Jodie. Pearl gets teased because she's so weirdly brainy. I'm not, I said, squirming. And I'm the bad girl, said Jodie, spinning around on one foot and throwing her arms out, going, ta-da! Maybe you'll both fit in here. Most of the kids are weird or bad, said Harley. Aren't they all little posh knob boffins, said Jodie. No, this is a kind of last-ditch dumping ground for kids no one wants, said Harley. You're kidding, said Jodie. This is dead posh. Anyone can see that. She gestured to the cream walls in the corridor. Look, no graffiti. You should see the walls of my old school. Kids sprayed their tags all over and wrote dirty stuff about the teachers. Oh well, at least it showed they were literate. Half the kids at Melchester are so dyslexic they can't even spell four-letter words, said Harley. Don't be so snotty, said Jodie, just because you're obviously a goody-goody brain box. I'm hopefully a brain box, but I'm considered a baddie, said Harley. I've been expelled twice, and the last school I was at said they thought I'd be happier elsewhere, so that's almost an expulsion too. What did you do? I asked, staring up at him. He didn't do anything. He's just kidding, said Jodie. I'm not, said Harley. Though I didn't do anything interesting. One time it was for insubordination. The head teacher kept yelling at this sad little kid, so I yelled back on his behalf. I wouldn't apologise because I felt I was in the right, so eventually they expelled me, and the other time it was supposedly arson. Wow, said Jodie, you set the place on fire. I didn't mean to. I was just trying out a pack of cigarettes, seeing if I could acquire a decadent illicit habit. and I failed to stub one out properly, and it set fire to my wastepaper basket, and then the whole wretched bed caught fire. No one was hurt, but the school decided to get shot of me all the same. That figures, said Jodie. So, have you got any fags on you now? I gave it up. Not good for my general fitness, said Harley, flexing his long spidery arms. Jodie laughed. You are joking, I take it. You're not exactly the spitting image of a sports jock, are you, mate? What do they do for sports here, anyway? There's a gym. I'll show you. I hate gyms, I said. Me too, said Harley. Wimps, said Jodie. When Harley led us inside the Melchester College gym, Jodie let out a whoop at the sight of the ropes and the wall bars and the horse. Yeah, she said, unhooking the ropes and letting them swing. She leapt onto one and swung herself backwards and forwards. She made it look so easy. I tried too. I couldn't climb up high enough and bumped back to the floor, looking a fool. Harley was sensible enough not to try. Jodie swung wildly above us, her thin legs wrapped around the rope. Whee! She sang. We hear you, Tarzan, said Harley. He looked at me sympathetically. You're not sporty, Pearl? No, absolutely not. Me neither, apart from basketball. I just reach out and dunk the ball through the hoop. Will I have to do basketball here? Maybe. You get a choice of 3 different sporty things, winter and summer. Can't you just choose not to? I wish. Hey, you two down there, look at me, Jodie called. I can't, or I'll be staring straight up your skirt, said Harley. She stuck her tongue out at him. Do you think I could jump from one rope to the other? No. I bet I can. Watch. No, don't, Jodie, you'll fall, I shouted. Come down, crazy girl, you'll break your neck, said Harley. Jodie laughed, lunged forward, reached for the neighbouring rope, and grabbed hold. She spun around, the rope juddering, but she kept her grip. Though one of her red high heels fell off, she kicked the other one off too and then climbed down monkey fashion, landing lightly on her bare feet. Just throw roses at me, folks. I know I'm brilliant, she said, throwing her arms out and curtsying. Watch out we don't throw rocks at you, said Harley. He looked at me. Is she always this mad? Yes. Oh well, maybe she'll liven things up at Melchester. I'm great at livening things up, said Jodie, stepping back into her shoes and giving a little wiggle. I bet you are, said Harley. OK, have you seen enough of this scholastic dump? Because I've got things to do. No, come on, Harley, show us all of it. Well, the science labs are along here too. You can always have fun blowing yourself up. He showed us the science labs. Mercifully, the equipment was safely locked away. Anywhere you want to see, Pearl? Harley asked. Is there a special art room? Yeah, come on then. All the art materials were locked away too, but there were paintings pinned up all over the walls. The artwork was mostly uninspiring, copies of famous paintings like Van Gogh's Sunflowers and Picasso's Child with a Dove. There were some self-portraits too, all very stiff and self-conscious. The only painting I really liked was an animal painting, a very long, thin, wistful giraffe on 4 sheets of paper sellotaped together. I like the giraffe, I said. Ah, my self-portrait. I'm glad you like it, said Harley. Did you really do it? I said. I peered at it closely. There was Harley's signature at the bottom. I can't believe I picked it out, I said, thrilled. What a coincidence. Come on, you knew, said Jodie. Great long tall weirdo creature, great long tall weirdo boy. Doesn't take much power of deduction. I didn't know, I said. Which do you like, Jodie? They're all a bit rubbish, she said. She grinned at Harley, especially the giraffe. Show us something else. Where are all the ordinary classrooms? They were up the big flight of stairs to the first floor. Each classroom was pretty much the same, dull and a little dusty, with old-fashioned ink-stained desks and revolving blackboards on one wall. No whiteboards. Chalk. Jodie picked up a white stump of chalk and started drawing a cartoon version of herself, all big eyes and spiky hair and wide grin. She printed underneath, Jodie was here. Very artistic, said Harley sarcastically. The junior school classrooms up on the second floor were more interesting, with a Wendy house and floppy teddy bears and a set of enormous building bricks in red and blue and yellow. I'd have liked to play at building my own house, but we had to be very quiet. Miss Ponsonby was in the junior art room with Zeph and Sakura and Dan. We tiptoed past the open door, peeping in at them. Zeph was painting a careless, splashy manner, waving his paintbrush around as if he was conducting an orchestra. Sakura was painting very delicately indeed, her tongue sticking out in concentration. Dan wasn't painting at all. He was stirring a saucer of red paint with his finger and then dabbing himself experimentally. He looked as if he had a bad case of measles. Poor little kid, Jodie whispered, when we were down the end of the corridor. What is he, 3? He's 5. He's ever so bright, but he somehow seems a bit backward, said Harley. No wonder. How could anyone send such a baby to boarding school? He cries a lot. They all do, especially at night, said Harley. Well, I don't know about Sakura. She sleeps in the girls' dormy. Zeph and Dan are in the boys' dormy with me. So what do you do when they cry? Jodie asked. Do you give them a cuddle? I read to them, said Harley. Oh, sweet, said Jodie. What, like you read them Little Noddy and Thomas the Tank Engine? No, if you really must know, I'm reading them The Hobbit. Is that one of those hairy little dwarfy guys with big feet in that wizardy film? Said Jodie. They're way too young for that. They're not reading it. I am, said Harley. Zeph likes it because he's seen The Lord of the Rings on DVD, and Dan likes the name Bilbo and laughs every time I say it, so we're all three happy. Where's this boy's dormy then? Said Jodie. Is it along here or upstairs? The dormitories aren't in the main building. There's a boy's house and a girl's house near the bungalows. So what's upstairs? Said Jodie. There isn't really an upstairs, said Harley. Yes, there is, said Jodie, running down the corridor to the end. There was a big store cupboard standing there, but Jodie peered around it. Stairs, she said. Yes, but as is obvious, we're not allowed up there, said Harley. Then surely it's equally obvious there must be something exciting hidden away, said Jodie. Come on, help me shift the cupboard till we can squeeze past. It's strictly out of bounds, said Harley. So, what are they going to do? Kill us, said Jodie. Old Wilberforce is quite inventive when it comes to punishments, said Harley. Well, he can't punish us now. It's the school holidays. We can do what we like, said Jodie. I'm still in his care, said Harley. Well, we're not, said Jodie. Come on, Pearl, help me. She tugged hard at the cupboard, going red in the face with the effort. You'll hurt yourself, Jodie. So give me a hand. I scrabbled at the cupboard too. We could barely budge it an inch. We looked at Harley. It's not worth the effort and the potential aggro. There's nothing up there, he said. But he came and stood beside us and heaved too. I think there are attic rooms, I said. Mrs. Wilberforce told me about them. She said she tried to count them all once. She said I should have a go. There, she's given us her permission to have a peer around, said Jodie. Come on, use your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, push! The cupboard made a great groaning sound as we shoved at it. Shh, we don't want Miss Ponsonby to come running, said Harley. She's miles up the other end. She won't hear a thing. Come on, one more go. We hauled at the great cupboard, and it suddenly budged and shifted sideways, toppling alarmingly. Watch it. It'll fall on top of us if you're not careful, said Harley. It's fine, said Jodie. Look, we can just about squeeze through. Lucky job we're all thin. Let me go first. She hunched her shoulders up, stood sideways, and wriggled slowly through the gap. It looks horribly dark through there. Are there any spiders? I asked anxiously. Ooh, tarantulas! Help, help, killer tarantulas as big as beach balls! They're jumping all over me with their hefty, hairy legs, Jodie called. She's such a pain, your sister, said Harley, sighing. Are you going next? All right. I paused. Will you come too? What do you think I'm going to do? Shove the cupboard back and wall you both up forever? Stop it, you're as bad as Jodie. Never, said Harley. I still hesitated, looking at the gap. She's joking about the spiders, said Harley. I know she is. It's just the moment she says it, I can kind of feel them, I said. Here, said Harley. He held out his hand. Hang on to me. If you feel anything at all spidery, just give me a yell, and I'll yank you straight out. I smiled at him and then squeezed through the gap, hanging on tight. Chapter 8. It was like squeezing into a different world. It smelled damp and musty, and it was much dustier. The narrow stairwell was very dark. I don't like it, I said. Jodie, let's go back. Don't be such a wimp. Here, hold my hand. Is Harley coming? Give us a chance, Harley called. He stuck his arm through the gap, then squeezed his long, lanky body through, limb by limb. Then we stumbled up the murky stairs, coughing as we breathed in the dust. There was a long corridor with lots of spiders, webs dangling down from the ceiling. Look, I said, pointing at them. They're just little baby spiders, said Jodie. Isn't this great? It's like we found our own secret passage. We stood peering along the long corridor. There were buckets and basins all the way up it, half full of dank water. I think the roof's leaking big time, said Harley. Jodie was dodging around them, trying doors. Some were locked, without any keys. What's going on? What's in here? Why has Mr. Wilberforce blocked the way with that cupboard? Perhaps we'll find the bodies of all his former wives, like he's a Bluebeard and he's murdered them all. Maybe he even had a go at murdering the present Mrs. Wilberforce by shoving her out the tower window, but she miraculously survived, though of course tragically maimed. Don't, Jodie, I said. That's horrible. She did fall. Someone told me in the village. It was years and years ago, before she was married, said Harley. Truly, I said. How awful. I wonder how she fell. You don't think someone really pushed her, do you? Maybe we'll try to find out. We'll solve the mystery of Melchester, said Jodie. She wandered along the corridor. One of the doors was off its hinges, but we didn't spot any dead wives when we peeped in. Not a single coffin. It was just old school junk, broken computers, wobbly desks and stacks of cheap plastic chairs. Big ones, medium-sized ones and little ones. Oh, it's too big. Oh, it's too soft. Oh, it's just right, said Jodie in a funny Goldilocks voice, trying on all 3 sizes. She tried another room while Harley and I stacked the chairs back neatly. She just took a running push at the door and it creaked open. Jodie, don't. You mustn't break the lock. It was broken already. Come and look. She called. We found her kneeling amongst big cardboard boxes and battered trunks, pulling out limp paper chains and tinsel and winding them around her neck like garlands. One of the trunks had old costumes from school plays. Now you have to admit this is seriously cool, said Jodie. She snatched up a white veil and a long blue dress. Oh, wow, I've always wanted to be Mary, she said, still rummaging. No, look, even better, white feathers. Blow, Mary, I'll be the angel Gabriel. Then I can wear wings. She pinned them on her back and flapped around the room. I fingered the fruit gum jewels on the 3 cardboard crowns wistfully. I wanted to play at being a queen, but I'd feel too silly in front of Harley. Then I found a lovely smooth black velvety coat and I slipped it on, stroking the sleeves. I like your coat, Pearl. What else is there? What's that brown furry one? Are those the 3 wise kings' robes? Jodie put on the brown fur and tried to tie the long thin belt around her waist. Weird belt. It's more like a tail, she muttered. It is a tail, said Harley. You're ratty, and you're mole, Pearl. He delved into the trunk and found a large coarse black fur coat with a white streak down the front. He tried it on, grinning. Who am I, Pearl? Badger, I said. There was a bright green spotted mac at the bottom of the trunk, a perfect toad outfit. You'd make a great toad, Jodie, said Harley. Leap around, going pop, pop. Pop, 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 said Jodie, flinging the toad mac over her head and doing little froggy leaps around the room. She tripped in her high heels and ended up sprawling on the floor, laughing. How old are we? Mucking around like little kids, she said breathlessly. You're the number 1 mucker, said Harley. Charmingly put. I wonder if they'll do a play this year. I want to be in it. Is there a proper stage here, Harley? Of sorts. So, Dame Jodie, this is presumably the start of your acclaimed acting career, said Harley. Do not mock. My moment of fame will come, you'll see, said Jodie. I'm going to be a megastar. Do you want to act too, Pearl? Harley asked. I like dressing up and pretending, but not in front of people, I said. So what do you want to do? I think I want to write, I said shyly. She's written heaps and heaps. You should get her to show you. Some of her stories are brilliant, said Jodie. No, they're not. They're rubbish, I said, blushing. And my stories aren't anywhere near as good as yours. Tell Harley some of your stories, the really creepy, bloody ones. He thinks we're weird enough already, said Jodie. I like weird. I positively celebrate it, said Harley. I have to take that standpoint, as you don't get much weirder than me. I'm going to earn a fortune exploiting my own weirdness. I shall do my best to keep on growing and be a living freak in a circus. Harley the 100-metre man. They'll have to construct an enormously tall tent to exhibit me, with staircases and balconies so that people can climb up and gawp at me, eyeball to eyeball. Yeah, you're weird all right, said Jodie. She rattled 10 or 12 walking sticks in a wonky umbrella stand. Hey, are these canes? Does Mr. Wilberforce whack you on the bum when you've been bad? She took 2 of the canes and hobbled backwards and forwards with them. Then she pressed down hard on them, balancing, and swung between them. There was a hat stand too, with bowlers and trilbies and caps, even a battered grey top hat. Harley put it on and then draped a long black cape over his shoulders. Hey, it fits, more or less, he said, swaggering about, doffing his hat to us. Are they costumes for some old-fashioned play, said Jodie. I picked up a moth-eaten fur stole with 2 creepy little animal heads at one end. They had staring glass eyes and glinting teeth. Yuck, they're real furry creatures, I said, dropping it on the floor. I don't think they're dressing up costumes. They're real Victorian ones. I drew some like this for my Victorian project at school. This isn't Victorian, said Jodie, hauling a heavy mink coat around her shoulders. She tossed her hair and struck a film star pose. And what about this, said Harley, slipping his long arms into a soft white fur jacket. It looked ridiculous on him, his wrists and splayed hands sticking out miles below the cuffs. Jodie laughed. You look like a half-skinned rabbit. She stroked him mockingly. Good, bunnykins. Hey, I think that jacket is rabbit. Oh dear, it's so sad. Yet, it's so soft too. Let me try it on, Harley. It's like all the people who ever lived here left their coats behind, I said. Perhaps that's why they're here. Maybe these all belong to Mrs. Wilberforce's family, her parents and grandparents, said Harley, wriggling out of the jacket and letting Jodie try it on. It looked lovely on her. She kept it on a while we went to the next room. Jodie was an expert at getting in now. We couldn't find any more clothes, apart from a splendid crimson smoking jacket with a matching tasselled fez and a half-finished long white dress still pinned on a dressmaker's dummy. Oh, it has to be a wedding dress, said Harley. This is too Miss Havisham for words. I'd seen the film of Great Expectations on television and remembered Miss Havisham was the old lady who'd been jilted on her wedding day, so I could nod intelligently. Jodie pinched the waist and held out the long skirts. Yes, it's definitely a wedding dress. A total white meringue, she said. So, was it going to be Mrs. Wilberforce's dress? And then some guy jilted her, so she threw herself from the tower in deep despair. Sherlock Jodie, said Harley, though I doubt it's as elementary as that. Poor Mrs. Wilberforce, I said. You can ask her all about it when you take her book back, said Jodie. I can't do that. She might not like me talking about it. How awful if something like that really did happen, I said. It's not real. We're just making it up, said Jodie. She took the white rabbit fur coat off and draped it tenderly around the dummy's shoulders over the long white dress. There now, she said softly. She went on to explore the next room. Pearl, come and look at this, she called. I went running. I stared around the room, my mouth open. It was like a nursery, with a beautiful Victorian scrap screen, 4 panels of plump-cheeked pouting children, overblown roses, little bluebirds, with beady eyes and flying fairies with spotted butterfly wings. There were old wooden chairs painted with hearts and flowers, a wobbly washstand, an old clothes horse, a misshapen fireguard and a big leather trunk. Jodie tried to prise it open, but she was a nail-biter and couldn't get a proper grip. Go on, Pearl, you do it, she said. I don't think it's locked, it's just stiff. I bent over and tugged hard, using my hands like hooks. The lid gave a little and I started levering it up. I peeped inside. Oh, I said, sitting back on my heels. My arm trembled as I eased the lid right up. Oh, I said again. Oh. You sound like a session singer, Pearl, said Harley, standing in the doorway. What's in the trunk? Diamonds? Gold bars? Rubies big as gravel? Better, I said. It's toys. The trunk seemed full of old stuffed animals, carefully swaddled in scraps of white silk, laid end to end. I thought you said you were too old for toys now, Jodie teased. Go on, get them all out so we can see what's there. I didn't like to disturb them. They looked as if they were in little silk shrouds in a communal coffin. Maybe we should just leave them exactly as they are, I said. Nonsense, said Jodie, leaning over and prodding this one and that one. She found a brown furry arm and pulled. It's a monkey, she said. Look, a chimp in blue trousers with a red bow tie. Isn't he cute? She pulled him out and then shrieked when his big, beige, rubbery foot slithered down her front and fell to the floor. Oh, gross! He's gone rotten. He's all warped and manky. She dropped him so that he fell beside his severed foot. He went on gamely, grinning with his orange mouth. Poor manky monkey, said Harley. I went and picked him up, feeling sorry for him. His foot was horribly wrinkled and spongy. I didn't like touching it, but I tried poking it back into the monkey's hollow leg. It fell straight off again, flopping into my lap. Perhaps we could glue it on, I said, smoothing his fur and pulling up his trousers, trying to comfort him. Jodie was poking further into the trunk. God, there's a whole family of rotting monkeys incarcerated in here, look. She held up a girl monkey in a blue dress and pinafore. She had little earrings, piercing her crumbling ears. Hey, I like her little starry studs, said Jodie, trying to pick them out. Don't take them away from her, I said. Look, she's only got half her ears left. She doesn't need earrings. Yes, she does. I tried to think of a way of getting Jodie to back off. Maybe the earrings made her ears get all infected, and that's why bits have dropped off. If you take the earrings, then your ears will go like that too, I said, taking the girl monkey and rocking her in my arms. You two are so seriously mental, said Harley. So, we've got Hop-Along and Nibble-Ear. Anyone else? Jodie found a baby monkey in a long white dress. She had a bonnet pulled very low over her eyes, which was just as well because half her face had peeled away. Then we found her big brother in a red waistcoat and black cord trousers. He was in better condition, but he'd lost one thumb. So, we have Little Faceless and Greedy Sucker Thumb, said Harley, settling them in my lap. There you are, Nurse Pearl, a set of little simian patients for you to put to rights. And when you're done doctoring them, you can do a dormy round. Zeph's teddy has suffered a serious amputation. Do they all have teddies? Said Jodie, fiddling with a doll. She had a pretty face and long fair hair, but her arms and legs dangled dejectedly. Her internal elastics rotted away. Dan has his man, said Harley. What, Action Man, I said. No, it's one of those creepy biology kits where you see inside the transparent man to all his heart and lungs and liver. He has no willy, though. I wittily suggested calling him Willy-Nilly, but Dan insists his name is simply Man. How come he's got one of those things? He's only a baby, said Jodie. I think he's got these weirdo parents who want him to be an infant phenomenon, said Harley. He's also got a Peter Rabbit cuddly toy, but he never plays with it. I read him the Peter Rabbit story, and then I took him out to the vegetable garden, and we played Peter Rabbit eating all the lettuces. But Dan was rather half-hearted about it, and poor old Peter got a bit muddy burrowing in the cabbage patch. His paws have never been the same since. You call us weird, said Jodie. Do you think the kids would like to play with the monkeys, or do they have to stay chained to that Miss Ponsonby all day? Pretty much, said Harley. I think they'd love to come up here, but I'm not sure we could trust them to keep quiet about it. If anyone finds out, we're in big trouble. Okay, this is our secret, said Jodie. So what else is along here? We might as well take it all in while we can. We found a room with an open door full of old bedroom furniture, dressing tables and spotted mirrors with a large wardrobe. Hey, let's go to Narnia, said Harley, opening the wardrobe door a crack. Idiot, said Jodie, but she got right in the wardrobe. I got in too. Harley squeezed in beside us, bending his head right down and pulled the door shut. It was so dark inside that we couldn't see a thing. We stood squashed up together, giggling a little hysterically. I wanted to hold Jodie's hand, but worried that I might grab Harley by mistake. So where's Narnia then, said Harley. Let us in, wicked queen. I want to ride on your sleigh and nibble your Turkish delight. He banged his fists on the back of the wardrobe. There's no Narnia, said Jodie. No way out to the back of the wardrobe, and no way out the front either. You've shut the door and the handle's on the outside. We can't get out. We're entombed here forever. We can shout and yell and hammer with our fists, but we're way at the end of the forbidden corridor, and no one will ever hear us. We're stuck in this wardrobe like 3 corpses in a coffin. Shut up, Jodie, I said, panicking, pushing on the wardrobe door. It gave easily, and I tumbled out into the room, again landing on my knees. Jodie jumped out after me, laughing her head off. Harley unfurled himself after her, laughing too. That was horrible, I said. Don't make stuff up like that, Jodie. You make it too real. It was just a silly joke, babe, said Jodie. We were only in a wardrobe. Yes, but you made it seem like it was a real coffin. I quite fancy that real coffin idea, said Harley. It would be cool to have your own comfy coffin to curl up in, only emerging by the light of the full moon, teeth bared, ready for a little snack. If you keep on growing, they'll have to make you a special long coffin, like those long black boats you get in Venice, said Jodie. Gondolas. Yes, even better. I could float down some murky Venetian canal, ferried by a mournful-looking black-robed gondolier. Have you ever been to Venice, Harley? I asked shyly. Yes, I went with my ma when she was temporarily between men, just before she met my current stepfather. I suppose you've been to lots of places abroad, Jodie asked. Some. Paris, Amsterdam, Vienna, Florence, America lots of times. Just the usual, said Harley. That's maybe your usual, matey. We haven't been anywhere, have we, Pearl? We went to Spain once, but Mum got all fussed about the noise from the nightclub, and Dad didn't like the food. Honestly, they're a joke, our parents. Not as jokey as mine, said Harley. I'll swap you. Sure, said Jodie. You don't know what they're like. I'll take a chance. It'll give Mum a break. She's desperate to get rid of me. She is not, I said. Oh, go on. You know perfectly well you're Mum's favourite, Pearl, said Jodie. Well, you're Dad's favourite, and you're my favourite too, I said. Really, Pearlie, even though I scare you rotten, said Jodie, suddenly clasping her hands around my neck, pretending to throttle me. I started tickling her in retaliation, and she shrieked. Shh! Shut up, Jodie! I will get in so much trouble if we're caught, said Harley. Oh, for heaven's sake, we're not doing any harm, said Jodie. Why are they so fussed about all these attic rooms? It's not like any of this stuff is really worth anything. No one would want it, ugly old stuff, she said, kicking the massive wardrobe. She kicked too hard and hurt her foot. Ow, she moaned, hopping on one leg. She wasn't good at balancing on just one high heel and nearly toppled over. She grabbed hold of Harley. Whoopsie. He sighed. No wonder you're falling over. Look at your stupid shoes, he said irritably. You sound like my mother, said Jodie, tossing her ponytail. She marched out of the room, exaggerating each step. Wibble wobble, she chanted, making her ankles do just that. Harley raised his eyebrows at me. I shrugged, grinning. I felt guilty. It was as if we were ganging up on Jodie, but it was exciting all the same. Whenever we'd ever met anyone new before, they'd always wanted to be Jodie's friend, not mine. But Harley definitely seemed to want to be my special friend. Seeing the badger together had been like a magic enchantment. We heard Jodie tapping down the long corridor, trying more doors. Come on, you guys, she called. She's an old bossy knickers, your sister, said Harley. He was busy rearranging the mirrors, adjusting them carefully. Here, Pearl, take a look. I bent down and saw myself reflected in the mirror, and then again and again and again. Multiple Pearls endlessly smiling and smiling, until I felt dizzy, not sure which one was me. Hey, Jodie called. Come here. Wait till you see what I've found. Oldest trick in the book, said Harley, pulling faces in the mirror beside me. Don't take any notice, Pearl. Jodie kept calling, sounding really excited. I don't think she's kidding us, I said. Let's go see, Harley. I ran out of the room and down the corridor. Jodie was right at the end, standing in front of a door. Look, she said, leaping up and down. Look at what? I said. It's just another door. It's right at the end of the corridor. Can't you guess which door it is? I don't know. It's got to be the door into the tower, said Jodie. Oh, wow. But it's properly locked, see, said Jodie, pointing upwards at the bolt. She jumped up, but didn't get anywhere near it. Harley, she hollered, we need you. Come on, Daddy Longlegs, this is a job for you. Harley strolled slowly along the corridor, refusing to hurry. Come on, we need you to undo the bolt. Harley reached up and grappled with it. It had been partly painted over. At first it looked as if it wouldn't budge at all, but Harley kept pulling at it. Lift me up, I'll do it, said Jodie, tugging at him. Just give me a chance, will you, he said. He bashed at the bolt with the side of his hand. It seemed to give a little. Do it again, said Jodie. It bloody hurts, said Harley, but he went on bashing until the bolt slid undone. Hooray, said Jodie, rattling the door handle. It still wouldn't open. Jodie pushed and shoved it. She even tried kicking it. You can't get in, Jodie, said Harley. I will get in, she said. You'll see. Chapter 9. We'll have to find the key, said Jodie. We've got to get into the tower. I think it's all blocked up anyway, said Harley. Well, we can unblock it, said Jodie. There's definitely a room up there because you can see a window on the outside. Maybe the really, really naughty Melchester College pupils are shoved into the tower and languish there. Hey, I can hear someone calling. It's very faint, very hoarse, very desperate. Listen. We knew she was kidding, of course we did, but we all still listened. Then I heard someone calling, very faint and far away, but still distinct. Harley and I stared at Jodie's mouth as if she was performing some clever act of ventriloquism. She looked taken aback. I did hear something, she said. We listened again. There was another, far away. Jodie! Pearl! Oh, God, it's Dad, said Jodie. Quick, we don't want him catching us up here. She slipped off her red shoes and we started running madly down the long corridor, past all the attic rooms, towards the stairs. Harley ran awkwardly alongside us, lifting his legs up oddly, knees high like a galloping pony. We got to the stairs at last and skidded down them, sliding on the old lino, green and slippery as seaweed. Then we squeezed back through the gap by the big cupboard. Dad's voice was much louder now. Quick, don't let's hang around in front of the cupboard. It'll look way too suspicious, said Jodie. In here, said Harley, shoving us into a classroom. We stood still for a moment, trying to catch our breath. We heard Dad calling again, louder now. We're in here, Dad, Jodie yelled. She nodded at us. Act like we've been here ages, she hissed. She sat at a desk, slipped her shoes back on and put her feet on a chair. I sat beside her. Harley started a chalk drawing on the old-fashioned blackboard. He drew a broad head with a long snout. What's that? A dog, said Jodie. I bet Pearl can guess, said Harley. It's a badger, I said proudly. Then Dad came into the classroom, dirt and oil already smeared on his new work clothes. There you are, he said. I've been looking all over for you. Where have you been? Just hanging out here, Dad, said Jodie. Came looking for you along 10 minutes ago, said Dad. Oh, well, we've been in some of the other classrooms too. Harley's been showing us around, haven't you, mate? Said Jodie. That's me, utterly matey, said Harley. Always ready to oblige. Well, lad, Mr. Wilberforce wants you to oblige him. He wants you to help him lop his hibiscus. Isn't that Jed's job? Harley asked mildly. Let's all go and help Jed, said Jodie. No. You need to help your mother, Jodie. You too, Pearl. What were you thinking, sloping off? There's so much work to be done. You two go back to our flat pronto and get cracking. Yes, Dad, no, Dad, at the double, Dad, said Jodie, saluting and clicking her high heels. He pretended to take a swipe at her. She dodged, laughing. Dad shook his fist at her, but he was grinning. Harley was watching, looking wistful. I wondered what it would be like not to have a dad. My sympathy made me brave. Maybe, see you later, Harley, I said. Sure, he said, smiling at me. Ooh, Jodie squealed when we were going along the basement corridor together. Maybe see you later, she repeated in my voice. You bold girl, practically making a date with old Harley, not Davidson. I wasn't, I said, going red. You're blushing. Fancy you've only been here 5 minutes and you've got yourself a boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend, I protested, shoving her. He's just a friend. You've really got a thing going between you. What with all this bookie talk and little smiles like you've got a big secret together? Shut up. It's not like that. He's just being kind to me, the way he's kind to Dan and Zeph and Sakura. I paused. Isn't he? He likes you, stupid. It's obvious. Well, he likes you too, I said. No, he doesn't. I irritate him, said Jodie. Still, I intend to have my pick of all those posh guys when the term starts, and I might just click with old Jed. Jodie, he's much too old. I like older guys, and they like me. Look at Bernie, he really fancied me. Oh, Jodie, he was just kidding around. You're kidding, aren't you? Maybe, said Jodie. I do reckon Jed, though. Oh, his eyes, and that grin of his. Wow. She burbled on about him for ages while we were sorting our bedroom. I couldn't work out if she was serious or winding me up. She kept teasing me about Harley, too. Made me feel important, grown up, on a par with Jodie herself. I unpacked my boxes, arranging my real doll's house and my shoebox mansion towers, and my snow globes and my little plaster poodles, and my scrapbooks and my jars of beads, and my fairy lamp and my 3 little black teddy bears. I looked at them with enthusiasm. I flicked Edgar, Alan and Poe with my fingernails so that they fell over on their backs, furry paws in the air. Ouch, 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 said Jodie, pretending to be the bears. They look a bit silly, don't they? All my stuff is so babyish. Shall we make our bedroom really stylish and sophisticated? No girly stuff at all. You're 100% girly, Pearly, said Jodie, laughing at me. Yes, but I don't have to stay girly forever, I said. True, said Jodie, though I like you girly. I had plans to make this lovely, pretty pink room for you, with ruffled curtains and satin ribbons. We could scrape up all this scuzzy wallpaper and paint it white, and you could paint little roses all over. You're good at them. You could paint little pink poodles too, yeah. And what else could we paint? Pink fairies with their own fairy palace, yeah. Loads of fairies like those soppy books you used to read. A whole flock of fairies. You could have a fairy dress with little net wings. And a fairy wand, and I could poke you in the tummy whenever you teased me, I said. I'm not teasing, said Jodie. She saw the little torn piece of wallpaper by my bed and pulled it. A big strip came away, exposing the whitewashed wall. There, it comes off way easy peasy. We can strip it all off and get it painted in no time. Jodie, don't. You're tearing it all. Of course I am. It's all got to come off, Dopey. We can't paint on top of this old wallpaper. But what will Mum say? Mum said a great deal when she came in to check on us. She seized hold of Jodie, hitting out at her. How dare you? Look at the mess you're making. You're wrecking your whole room. Ow, Jodie screamed. Don't you dare hit me. You're not allowed to hit kids. If they find out here, they'd sack you. Stop it. You stop it then, said Mum, her arm swinging at her sides. And I didn't hit you. I smacked you, like any good parent. Bad parent? You could be prosecuted, said Jodie. Better watch out I don't tell on you to Mr. Wilberforce, Mum. Don't you dare try to blackmail me, young lady. Look, for pity's sake, can't you try to help, not hinder? You too, Pearl. Why didn't you try to stop your sister making such a terrible mess? We're sorry, Mum, I said. No, we're not. We are helping. You said we could redecorate the rooms, and that's what we just started doing. You said, Mum. Later, once we're all straight. We haven't even unpacked yet, and I'm trying to give everywhere a good scrub. I've been down on my knees on that kitchen floor. I don't know who the cleaners are, but they deserve to be sacked. There's grease an inch thick around that cooker. We'll have cockroaches if we don't watch out, and I found mouse dirt in the pantry. It's disgraceful, a total health hazard. The very least you two could do is give me a hand with the cleaning. But you run off and play flipping hide and seek with that great gangly boy, and then you rip your room to shreds. Mum was red in the face, tears spurting down her cheeks. We'd never seen her so worked up before. I felt tears pricking my own eyes. Even Jodie looked worried. Mum, hey, don't cry, she said, giving her a hug. Look, we can always stick the wallpaper back on the walls if that's what you want, and you can smack me all you like if it makes you feel better. Go on, have another bash, feel free. Shut up, you bonkers banana, said Mum, hugging her back. She sniffed and absent-mindedly wiped her nose on her sleeve, though she'd have been outraged if either of us had done the same. Shall we come and help you scrub your kitchen floor, Mum? I said. Well, I've broken the back of it now. Broken my back too, I dare say. Mum sniffed again. Her eyes were still brimming. I need a decent cleaner, but where am I going to find anyone in the middle of nowhere? I didn't realise it would be so isolated here, and the Wilberforces and that Miss French, they're not really what you'd call friendly, and the children all seem such an odd bunch. Harley's not odd, I said. Yes, he is, said Jodie. I thought they'd all be... Mum waved her hand in the air, trying to find words to describe angelic, well-mannered children with neat uniforms and posh voices. The little ones, they look pathetic, and that Harley's a ragbag. His sleeves end halfway up his arms. He can't help being tall, I said. He's not tall, Pearl. He's incredibly freakily, gigantically elongated, said Jodie. Shut up, I said. Pearl, don't use that expression. It's horrible, and I don't know why you're arguing. He is a bit freaky looking. You shut up too, I said. Pearl? Mum looked astonished. Jodie clapped her hands, roaring with laughter. She got told off too, but Mum didn't put her usual energy into it. She kept nibbling at her lower lip, looking all around the room. She fiddled with the tattered strips of wallpaper. You've made such a mess of it, girls, she said, and she paused. It looks like I've made a mess of things too. Maybe we'd have been better off staying where we were. Everything's gone topsy-turvy. I thought it would be such a step for us all, a chance for you girls to turn into little ladies. But look at you, you're already running wild. Even you, Pearl, imagine, telling me to shut up. I'm sorry, Mum, I said. She was just upset because you were having a go at her Harley, said Jodie. He's not my Harley, I said hotly. Then why are you blushing? He's your boyfriend. Stop teasing her, Jodie. You're being silly. You're too young to have a boyfriend, let alone our Pearl. She looked at us both. So what do you think? Is it a mistake, our coming here? Of course not. It's lovely here, I said. You really think so, Pearl, said Mum. You're such a bright girl. I wanted to give you the chance I never had. And this is a good school, and you'll be able to be taught properly, and you'll talk nicely and have good manners, and never ever say shut up to your mother. I'll say shut up, said Jodie. Excuse me, Mum. You've got 2 daughters, you know. Yes, I do know, and one of them drives me completely crackers, said Mum, pulling Jodie's spiky ponytail. So, what do you think, Jodie? Are you happy here? Jodie frowned and then shrugged. It's a laugh, she said lightly. So, can we get on with our wallpaper stripping? If you do it properly, I want every little scrap off. You need to soak it and use a scraper. Then I'll see if Dad's got time to give it a quick coat of emulsion. No, we'll do it, said Jodie. Please, Mum. We'll see, said Mum. Get it all stripped first. Don't you dare leave it looking such a mess. We'll do it all, Mum. Promise, I said. It took much, much longer than we thought. Jodie got fed up after a while and flopped down on her bed, her legs in the air, turning her feet at different angles to admire her high heels. I wanted to flop too, but I kept patiently stripping. I hoped I might find more signs of the little servant girl, a scrap she'd stuck on the wall, her height marks, a little scribbled heart with the initials of her sweetheart. But there was nothing. I had to make her up. I started telling Jodie the story, but she kept yawning. Your stories are so girly, Pearly. Look, let me tell it. I didn't like the way she told it at all. She made the cook get more and more angry with the little servant girl, beating her with a wooden spoon, tapping her hands with a ladle, whacking her about the head with her saucepan. Until one day, little Kezia, the kitchen maid, got so fed up, she crept up behind the mean old cook, throttled with her with her own apron strings, and then stuffed her in a giant pot and boiled her in great soup. Everyone feasted royally on the cook for a fortnight, smacking their greasy lips with pleasure. No, they didn't, I said. Why do you always have to muck the story about, Jodie? It's silly always making it creepy and weird. You always spoil stuff. Jodie sat up. Okay, she said. I won't tell you any stories anymore. My stomach knotted. I didn't mean it, I said quickly. Yes, you did, said Jodie. She jumped to her feet. I'm bored anyway. See you. She walked to the door, humming a little tune. Jodie, don't go. Look, you can't go. We promised Mum we'd finish scraping off the wallpaper, I said. You promised, so you finish it, said Jodie. I've got better things to do. But that's so mean. You can't just leave me, I said. Yes, I can, said Jodie. She waved her hand in the air and went out of the door. Come back, I called. Don't be like that. You know I love your stories. Jodie, please. I waited, my heart pounding. I hoped I might hear her shoes clip-clopping back along the corridor. She might just be playing a joke on me. She'd come bursting into the room any minute, laughing at me. But she didn't.